Alright. Good morning, guys. We're going to go through a couple of different types of questions um, that you could see on like a test and things like that. So they're just worded versions of the work we've already been doing. So I'm just going to pick a couple of questions out here. I'm going to go through them. So the first one is driving on holiday in Tasmania, and it says, what option should I choose? Two people to travel on the Strait of Tasmania return, so it's there and back, with a car of $1,268. I should probably close an email. Right? $1,268 there and back. And that's good because you can take your car. Okay? Or Jetstar is $59 each trip. So $59 there, $59 back for two people for each person. Alright, so there's four trips in total. And then the hire car is $225 a day. I want to know which option is cheaper for a 3-day trip, a 7-day trip, or a 10-day trip. Okay, so let's explore this. So basically, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to come up with some sort of equation to represent both ones, and then the best way to do it is then to graph them and see what the difference is. So let's do that. Okay, let's say option A. I'm going to do in black, right? Now we know that the common form equation is y equals mx plus c, right? That's what equations usually are, right? Um, Now, what we need to figure out is in this equation, right? The plus c is generally. Let me change color actually, so it stands out a bit more. The plus c generally refers to something called a constant, right? Constant, which is like in this example, it's the amount of money that you'll pay regardless of how many days you stay, right? That's the idea. So it's a value that won't be affected by any of the change. It's something that you pay outright. Okay. So if you're getting a taxi, it's usually called flag fall. You know, if you're paying, it could be a booking fee, whatever it is. It's something that, regardless of how long you're there for, it will not change. Okay. Then this m, which is our slope, right? This is it's a coefficient, but yeah. So this is the slope. And basically what this is going to mean is this is going to be the other value, which will change depending on how many hours you're there, how many minutes you travel, whatever it might be. Okay, so this is the one that is affected by that. So with that in mind, let's rewrite this equation for option A. Right? Option A. Okay, that was supposed to be an equal sign. Not very good at drawing with this yet. Option A equals. Okay, so two people go on Spirit of Tasmania with a car, and it's $1,200. So this is y equals something x plus c. Now this one's not immediately obvious actually, because it doesn't actually tell you. There is no there's only a constant value. There is no gradient value in this case, right? So it's saying that regardless, you're paying $1,268 regardless of how long you stay there, right? This is actually a zero. So I can basically just rewrite this as y equals 1268, right? And that won't change. That's just a set value. Let's have a look at Jetstar's one though. Right. Change color again. This one's B. And it says Jetstar can take $59 a trip. Alright. So it's two people times two trips times the ticket of Jetstar. We're going to figure that out first. So it's 236. I think I'm right. Right? So $236 is the cost of the flights, that's the ticket cost, and then there's a $225 fee per day for a hire car. Now going back to that original equation, we said that the value that stays the same regardless of how many days you stay there goes on the end, so plus 236. And the value that changes per day is the one that's multiplied by x, 225x. Okay, so depending on how many days, that amount of money will change because you hire a car per day. And it's like, okay, which option is cheaper? There's a couple ways you can do this. Right? Your best bet is probably just to substitute in these values 3, 7, and 10 for x. Right? Because remember, it's $225 per day, so x is the number of days. For 3 days, I would substitute that in. So that would be, let's change colors again. Let's go blue. Let's move this over here. So if we did y equals 225 times 3 plus 236, what would that equal? Okay, that's what would that be? 7, maybe not quite. 675. That'd be 250 plus, 450 plus 225, 675 plus 236. That's my math skills now. What did I say? 675 plus 236. $911. Alright, so for 3 days, $911. That means that that's cheaper than the Spirit of Tassie. Okay. Now, same thing again. What about for a 7-day trip? Alright. Okay, let's do a 7-day trip. It could be y equals 225 times 7 plus 236. Right. And in the interest of keeping this video short, I'm just going to use a calculator this time. Right. So 225 times 7 equals 1575 plus 236 is $1,811. Right? That's more expensive now than the Spirit of Tassie. Right? And then you would assume that the last one would also be more expensive. That'd be y equals 225 times 10 plus 236. Right? I'll give you 2486. Right. And the question is, on what day would that answer change? So that's an interesting question, right? You could do trial and error and try and figure it out, but there is an easier way, and you just have to graph both of these equations and see what happens. So let's go to Desmos. Put some graphs up. Okay, so the first one was just y equals 1268. Y equals 1268. Better zoom out as well so it can be seen. Okay, that's it there. Y equals 1268. And our other one is y equals 225x plus 236. So y equals 225x plus 225 should be a straight line. Maybe it's not a straight line. Okay, yeah, that's not quite a straight line. So the key is here. You want to be looking at where is this crossing over. Okay, so I zoom right in here. At this point here, so this is 1268, right? At this exact moment, before then, right? So before this point, the previous one was cheaper. So before this one, the the flights and the rental car are cheaper, and after this point, this is now the cheaper option, right? So it's a bit of a bit of a tough one in a way, but essentially, this point here where it crosses over is at 5, meaning that up until day 5, flying and renting a car is cheaper. After that 5 days, that's when this other one is cheaper. Okay, so that should be your answer. So, on day 5, the Spirit of Tassie becomes the better option, right? Because you've got to imagine this graph is um, uh, basically cost on the y-axis and days on the x-axis. I wish I could set some values in here. Should have y-axis. This might be better, easier for you to see. I've done the wrong one as well. Right. Okay, that gives you a better look at it, right? So yeah, after on day 5, this is cheaper. Halfway through day 5, it becomes more expensive. On day 6, it's definitely cheaper to get this red value because this is essentially the number of days versus the cost. So naturally, you want whichever one is lower. Okay. Um, anyway, I hope this gave you an idea of what to look for, and I'll see you guys later on today. Thanks.